chat. Today we have the silver section and it is an hour long. It's probably going to be the worst one. Someone told me on Twitter that it gets worse. I was like, wait, really?
All right, so here we are. One of the most important sections in the document.
Oh, it's important.
Silvervale. This also
Ooh, it's important, chat.
The longest section
Maybe it's a good thing we watched it.
weighing in at 237
I gotta make some game perception because Loki, I know I'm not gonna get through
I don't know why
this.
the document was structured this way. I don't know why the breakdown was purely for Bao, Numi, Nano, and Shy Lily. But asking questions will only make you go insane when it comes to this document. So you know what? Let's just get right into it. Here's how Sinder would.
The whole video is 5 hours.
Silvervale and I have never
6 hours.
been friends. There were 3 reasons I tried to make some kind of connection with her throughout the years. The first one being, I have been endlessly compared to and harassed about my similarities to Silvervale that ate at my insecurities ever since I started my VTubing career. These comments weren't true, but I believed Silvervale bought into them and disliked me for it. If Silvervale and I could clear things up, be on good terms, and to be able to publicly acknowledge each other, it would have helped to end the harassment both of us were getting for so long. The second point is, any creative or business endeavors Silvervale and I did together could have been very successful and benefit us both. I've gotten countless requests from fans asking for this. Red had lots of ideas for potential things we could have done, and I was always open to working together with her. The third and final point is, I genuinely sought a friendship with someone I was repeatedly told was very similar to me in our personalities, likes, and interests. Silvervale was never obligated to do any of these things, and I never felt that she was. I just wanted to get along. For so long, I held out hope that we could talk things out, but she showed me through her own behavior how she really felt about me due to no actions of my own. My pursuit to fix things between us turned to mixed feelings, and after she repeatedly gave me reason to, I grew to resent Silvervale by the summer of 2024. The never-ending
Girl, be so fucking for real, man. Why did you not catch the hint that she didn't want to fuck with you? I really wanted to be friends with her, but she didn't. Why was that like so much? If someone doesn't want to be friends with you, move on. It ain't that deep, bro. That's what I'm saying.
For
like, what?
And other circumstances around her didn't help. And the times I confided in my friends about my experiences with Silver, they'd all agree with me and tell me their own stories about her. It was Silvervale's dislike of me and her actions towards me throughout the years that informed mine and Red's opinions on Shy Lily's and her feelings about me before I was cancelled. Silver wouldn't acknowledge me by name when I'd raid her, ghosted my messages for months, and got her model from Nanolist at a very suspicious time. A similar petty pattern of behavior without any communication. Here are some of the things I said about Silvervale and my apology. I grew more and more resentful of Silver over time, between the constant belittling of myself, a controversy around my first waifu cup, and other incidents even though she herself never interacted with me directly. And it was also that fact that made me insecure. Like I wanted to know if she believed all those things or not. It really felt as if she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to making this choice. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. I was so wrong for letting everyone get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm so sorry for any opportunities I've taken away from you. So of course this was in the document from 5 months ago. She would continue in this document saying, I was overly apologetic because of the severity of the moment. I chose not to go into detail about any of my interactions with Silver and even said there wasn't any between us when there was. I felt awful about the feelings I had about her, calling myself unapologetically evil when I wasn't. I did not sabotage Silvervale. I agreed to ask Nano not to work with her on.
I gotta feel bad for the guy. I gotta feel bad for the guy that made the video. Yeah, Mujin, he's a W, bro. He's a W. I saw a lot of comments on my Twitter, and it was a lot of people saying like, oh, Mujin's biased because he knows Lily and he's with Mythic, and Mythic is an agency for creators, in a sense, like to help get sponsors and stuff like that. So I was like, what does him being with Mythic have to do with anything? And it just so happens Lily is with Mythic. And I go, guys, this is a huge airball stretch because what the fuck? I would not think that he's covering Lily's ass. I would just think that he's actually just like, this is wrong. You know what I mean? This is really wrong. I was there. He was, when he read it at 4 a.m., he was so out of it. Yeah. I saw all the replies to like my tweet and them being like, Mujin's biased. That's his Oshi. And I was like, I'm sure he probably doesn't even watch Lily that much. You know what I mean? And everyone kept saying that I was biased towards Silver. Cause I was like, yo, cause I also said a tweet too. And I said, I just got done reading Silver's document. I was like, and I'm gonna say this right now. She has a weird obsession like with Silver. And then I had people on my dick being like, that's your Oshi, you're being biased. I go, I've never watched Silver's content until like as of recently. This year, when she was involved with this little issue. You know what I mean? When she was thrown under the bus. So it's like, yeah, no. I'm that is not my Oshi. I think she's chill though. So this is coming from a woman that actually just does not watch a lot of people.
Models anymore, where Silver lost nothing, and I apologized for the opportunities I took from her when there really wasn't any. In doing so, I gave Silvervale the ability to fill in the gaps in the story however she wanted. Despite apologizing to her for evils far beyond what I've ever actually done, it didn't stop Silvervale from confidently lying about me when she finally had the chance. Silver said that she wanted her community to be fully informed about everything, so below is my full experience with and around Silvervale, ending with a breakdown of her document and a showcase of all the lies she told on her stream. So this would lead us to the next subsection, titled Accusations of Copying Silvervale. Cinder would say, I have been accused, compared, and harassed for years by people thinking I copied everything about Silvervale, including my personality, voice, and even my laugh. I was never going to address this publicly, but I'm taking this opportunity to lay everything out and show that I didn't copy.
Okay,
Cinder would then go ahead and detail.
Okay, hold on. I was there, dude. Oh, we fucking... Okay, not to be that guy. Okay, we're just gonna do something real quick.
Fucking, I love the Witcher horses. I'm so glad this mod exists. What? A world shining
I accidentally put caps, my bad. I'm trying to find like one because she's like dying of laughter. Unless you're faking it, how do you copy a laugh though? I still understand how we're comparing laughs. We really have nothing better to do. Yeah, sorry guys, my bad. I'm a detective. My bad.
To us her journey that led up to her first VTuber model. Initially, she was meant to be a cherry blossom.
Low-key, that's crazy though. To be like, oh, what was it? What did he say?
And harassed for years by people thinking I copied everything about Silvervale, including my personality, voice, and even
my personality, my voice. I know you're copying her, but I just can't prove it. I don't know, bro. Personality.
my laugh.
Maybe they just have like that generic VTuber personality. I don't fucking know, bro.
I was never going to address this publicly, but I'm taking this opportunity to lay everything out and show that I didn't copy her. Cinder would then go ahead and detail to us her journey that led up to her first VTuber model. Initially, she was meant to be a cherry blossom wolf girl that would be based on her previous ASMR channel persona, Tashi. This idea would be set in stone in November 2020, but then would completely change barely a week later on November 24th, 2020, when Silvervale would announce that she was joining Vshoujo and would debut a new model that looked similar to what Cinder had in mind. Red would very quickly message the artist that had already started working on the Tashi concept with an idea about a hellhound VTuber. The next 12 pages would be Cinder showing us the different details involving the new characters, including references, design inspirations, and even a very rough sketch, and more. And it would only be on the 16th of December that the final design of the Hellhound VTuber named Cinder would be finished by the artist. According to Cinder, she saw Silvervale as an inspiration because it was thanks to her new model that she was forced to change her artistic direction and came up with an even better idea in the process. In the next page, though, Cinder would admit that when she needed stream assets, she'd message Silverveil's artist and would say that over the years, she'd reference multiple things from Silver, such as emotes and 3D models. Regardless though, according to her, she'd become friends with this artist thanks to this interaction, so it wouldn't all be business-based. The next step in Cinder's journey would be her wanting to draw fan art of her character interacting with other VTubers she looked up to. The first one she'd do this with would be Silverveil, while also planning to do it with both Bao and Fruit, along with others. Back on January 15th, 2021, she would show off the fact that she was drawing something, and then she'd post this final fan art on the 31st of January 2021. In the caption, she would call Silverveil an inspiration. Cinder would be then very happy to see Silverveil's mom like it, retweet it, and even leave a comment on it. The next day though, her mom would delete her comment, unlike it, and unretweet it, which made both Red and Cinder panic. This prompted Red to immediately message Silverveil's artist, who they were already starting to work with. He'd ask her if she knew what happened. This is when the artist would point out that maybe it had something to do with the off-putting Cinderveil hashtag, which could be interpreted as a shipping tag. If you don't know what shipping is, God bless you, it's when you cheer for two people to be together romantically or sexually or both. The full caption of this post by Cinder would say, "Here's a little gift for Silverveil. You're such an inspiration to me, I thought it would be cute to draw us together since we're opposites. Hashtag Cinderveil anyone? Maybe these wolves will be a part of the same pack someday." Later that day, Silver would personally message Cinder, saying that she loved her art, but also would confirm that the hashtag was the reason her mom unliked it. She'd say, "I just had a little bit of a concern with the forced ship tag. I just feel like it was a little off-putting and in bad taste considering we don't really know each other yet. I hope you understand." Cinder would apologize, say that she didn't intend for it to come off that way, and would delete her post, making sure to post it again with a different caption. Overall, the conversation seemed to be very friendly, and Silver would let Cinder know that the reason why she knew of this and thought to reach out was because Red had messaged the artist and the artist told Silver. Red would end up thanking the artist, and it seemed like everything was settled, everything was cool. However, even though Cinder would repost this tweet with a different caption, she would discontinue the idea of making fan art featuring her and other VTubers like the planned ones with Bao and Fruit, for example, probably being scared or anxious that a misunderstanding like this would happen again. Now, the reason why Cinder brought this entire incident up in this document was because during her cancellation, people would reference this fan art tweet to back up the claim that Cinder copied Silver, and that it was all intentional and pre-planned from day one. She, of course, disagrees with that. The next event in the timeline would be in November 2021, when Cinder would message Nano to create a demon version of her model. The reason why this is shown in the document is to prove that she never intended to copy Silver's goddess design that was revealed a month later. If anything, it was inspired by another VTuber's design, Fruit. This whole Cinder demon design would officially debut in 2023, so it took quite a while to get done. Before that though,
It doesn't look anything alike. Is it just me? It doesn't look anything alike. Maybe like the open chest, but that's it. That's like the only thing that I can see. And she got inspiration from this? I could see the inspiration, not gonna lie. I could see the inspiration, dude. What's up?
Do you know what solipsism is?
No.
It's the belief that everything around us is a construct of our mind. If that's true, you're the most beautiful thing my mind's come up with.
That's a bar. I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. Subscribing because you're cool on Twitter.com, and also I like your emo. Thank you. I'm cool on Twitter? What? I post Gooner art.
Nano to
what?
create a demon version of her model.
That's
the reason why this is shown in the document is to prove that she never intended to copy Silver's goddess design that was revealed a month later. If anything, it was inspired by another VTuber's design, Fruit. This whole Cinder demon design would officially debut in 2023.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything similar.
Done. Before that though, she would debut her first ever model, the one that was made for her concept art back in June of 2022. It was the third VTuber model Nano had
I like people who express themselves freely. Oh man, not many people like that.
I was finally able to use and show off my model by Nano, which was the third one she ever made. But the first one she made after I had taught her by another artist to cut art layers correctly for Live 2D. But as exciting as this all was, it wasn't just sunshine and rainbows. According to Cinder, after her debut, she was harassed for allegedly copying everything about rain correctly for Light. The first one she made after I had taught her by another artist to cut art layers correctly for Live 2D.
I like how she has to mention that she taught her she taught her by another artist. Anything to get credit, dude. Anything to get credit where credit is not due.
But as exciting as this all was, it wasn't just sunshine and rainbows. According to Sinder, after her debut, she was harassed for allegedly copying everything about Silvervale. Nano's model was compared to Silver's original model and was used as proof that Sinder was copying everything. According to Red, they'd say that she looked like Silver, sounded like her, acted like her, and hell, even her name, being Sinder, sounded like Silver. And what's interesting here is that during Cinder's debut stream, Red would be monitoring the viewer list. He'd find out that Silver had watched for around an hour without following Sinder on any platforms, typing in the chat, doing anything, pretty much. The document would include Red saying this directly to Nano. Like, for example, Silver was at Cinder's debut last year, Cinder started growing fast, and then not even a month later contacts you about getting a model from you herself rushed for her birthday. Here's another example, but like I was saying before—
But she always gets a birthday model, what? What are you talking about? Oh my god,
contacts you about getting a model from you herself rushed for her birthday. Here's another example, but like I was saying before, Sinder debuted and Silver was there for like the first hour, watching, never said anything. Then a few weeks later goes to you for a model after we got you training, lol, and your art had improved so much in such a small time.
After we got you training? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Anything to take credit, as I said before, bro. Anything to take credit where credit is not due. Oh my god, dude. It must be so fucking hard. You must do so much work to take credit. That must be so difficult. It must be such a hard job doing that shit.
So look, I don't know how normal it is for a mod to stare at the viewer list, monitoring whenever someone's watching or not, but hey, he did, and he was really proud of that, so good for him. In any case, on the 30th of June 2022, a few days after Cinder's debut, Silver would start to advertise her big, brand new model being worked on, teasing some sneak peeks. However, it turned out that unfortunately, it wouldn't be able to be completed by her planned date, which was her birthday, around August. That's when she would message Nano, and here's how Cinder would describe the situation in the document, saying, Nano was not a well-known model artist back then. I was her third model she ever made, and I had trained her on how to cut her art.
Wow, oh my, holy shit. I had trained her on how to cut live 2D, but oh my, chat. That's like me stealing credit from Yami. Oh my fucking god.
Then, I was her third model she ever made, and I had trained her on how to cut her art for L2D, aka Live 2D, aka Vtubers, right? You have to cut a Vtuber model in order to rig it and have it move. By the 30th of July 2022, Nano already had Silver's model fully drawn. Red sent me this copy-pasted message from Silver in her server. I responded with, great, because we both knew that if Nano was making her a new model, I was going to be accused of copying her again. So overall, this—
Wait, what? Copy plus message. So I've said many times on stream, Sakura goddess model won't be done for an undetermined amount of time. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Wait, I didn't see this part. Due to delay with my artist and the sheer complexity and detail in the model, since I always want the best for you. But I still want something special for my new birthday and anniversary and have some eye candy for you all to enjoy. So there might be new coming soon. Art looks pretty familiar. Great. What the fuck is like wrong with these people?
Both knew that if Nano was making her a new model, Silver in her server, I responded with, great, because we both knew that if Nano was making her a new model, I was going to be accused of copying her again. So overall, this subsection was meant to outline Cinder's frustrations with being compared to Silver, all while not being acknowledged by her. What I find interesting though is Cinder's justification towards her protectiveness over Nano, pointing out not once, but twice that she was the one who trained Nano on
Thank you. Holy fuck, thank you. Oh my fucking god.
How to cut models for rigging. This is something that she would again mention during talks of exclusivity over 2 years.
I'm like locked in today. I feel like I'm getting sick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I feel like I'm getting sick. But I will say, I'm like locked in watching. I'm like,
how to cut models for rigging. This is something that she would again mention during talks of exclusivity over 2 years later, just as we saw in the Nano section. That's where she would say, it's just business. Now we're still on page 43. The rest of the section's 200 pages would expand on Cinder's frustrations in regards to Silvervale over the years. And the next event in the timeline is a perfect example of what you should expect for these next 200 pages. On the 2nd of August, 2022, Silvervale would make a tweet saying, send me your plushie collections to review on my stream, and Cinder would reply to this post with her own collection. She'd be hoping to connect with Silver over something they're both passionate about.
oh my
plushies. Here's the thing though, Silver never ended up doing the stream, and Cinder believes it's because she had the most liked reply, which would have forced Silver to interact with her during that said stream. 10 days later, on Silver's birthday, which is on the 12th of August 2022, Cinder would repost the fan art she drew for her back in 2021, wishing her a happy birthday and tagging her in the post. Again, no acknowledgement by Silver. Next.
Oh, this is so sad. Oh, this is so sad to witness. I'm not gonna lie. This is really sad to witness. I'm not gonna lie. This is really sad to witness, bro.
Wishing her a happy birthday and tagging her in the post. Again, no acknowledgement by Silver. Next thing you know, we are in October 2022 during TwitchCon of that same year. Cinder would have multiple impromptu meet and greets, and during one in particular, she had someone bold enough to confront her to ask her about copying Silverveil's model and artist. She had to clarify to them that Silver got her model after she did. Cinder would then say, I went to Silver's meet and greet with Aru and Red. This was the first time I spoke with her directly since my DMs with her on Twitter at the end of 2021. While we were waiting in line, or right after the meet and greet, Aru suggested the idea of a K9 collab between us two and Silver. This is the image of us meeting Silver that Aru posted later that day. I did not make my own tweet about meeting Silver. So this was of course a virtual meet and greet, and you can see both Cinder and Aru holding up their phones with their models on them, smiling. Silverveil would reply to this message on Twitter and say it was so adorable. Aru would then propose to Cinder that all three of them should have a collab together. While driving back home from TwitchCon, Cinder would ask Aru if she was still planning to message Silverveil about that, and Aru would say yes. Silverveil's reply to Aru's message would come quickly, with her saying that would be a ton of fun, then adding, I've been really busy with the con prep and stuff, but things have been calming down lately. However, just as Cinder felt like she was making progress with Silverveil, something she would deem weird would happen. You see, before she went to TwitchCon, she would post this meme on her Twitter account. She'd claimed that this meme had always been an inside joke with Red. This wasn't a meme format, this wasn't viral, she hadn't seen anyone else do it. To her, she was the first to have ever done it. I'll show it to you just for the sake of you understanding what the hell's going on.
Okay.
So it would start off
Thank you.
with a voiceover saying, do you ever wonder what's going on inside someone's head? And it would transition into her dancing and showing off her model's assets.
Okay.
What Cinder found weird though is that after TwitchCon and 8 days after she had posted her meme, Silverveil would post the same exact meme format. Here's how Cinder would describe it in the document. She'd say, Silver tweeted her own version of my meme a week after mine. Before I was retroactively accused of copying her again, I replied to her tweet with my own. This was not a meme format going around, and I don't own this format by any means, but the fact she just so happened to do the same thing I did right after I went to her meet and greet without following me on Twitter and without ever acknowledging me was very off-putting.
Lock me up. Lock me up because I've stolen so many memes. Lock me up, chat. I've stolen so many fucking memes, bro. I'm not original. Lock me up. Is she trying hard? Is she trying hard to be so, trying? I need my glasses. Give me 1 second. Holy fuck, dude. What did you say? Is she trying so hard to be with Silver? Or am I missing something? What if this is like doomed Yuri? Whoa. Just kidding, bro. Don't make that joke, chat. Oh my god, I could see chat. Holy shit. Oh my god, I could see you guys. I could see you guys. Holy fuck. We gotta be locked up. That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck? Says that she doesn't own it, but gets mad when someone else uses it. No, she doesn't own it, but gets mad when Silver uses it, bro. Holy. Oh no. Oh, she's blind. I gotta get my eyes checked again soon.
So as you can see here,
I low-key am a little scared because I have to go back to like the same place to get my eyes checked. But I will say, I'm low-key. I've been avoiding getting my eyes checked because it's been like what, 3 years? Yeah, I think it's been 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and I haven't gone back because the eye doctor was flirting with me, and I don't want to go back.
meet and greets without following me on Twitter and without ever acknowledging me was very off-putting. So as you can see here,
he wasn't being weird, guys. It's just everyone caught on but me, and I was like, oh, I did not know that.
Following me on Twitter and without ever acknowledging me was very off-putting. So as you can see here, as soon as
really
Cinder would
nice,
see
I will say it, but I just get really uncomfortable when people flirt.
And say we have the same brain cell, linking her own tweet. This incident would also be something that Red would vent about to Nano when he would bring up Silverveil. Next thing you know, it's the 17th of October, 2025. Cinder would join a Minecraft server called Bounce NMP that had many VTubers in it, and she'd run into Silver. Red would describe this encounter as Silver being dismissive, while Cinder Cinder being super nice. However, in the VOD that was linked in the document, I watched it, but it was a fairly normal interaction. I mean,
Can you
Silver
show?
was kind of awkward, but I don't know if you'd call that dismissive. I'll show you a bit of this encounter
Yes!
so that you can make up your own
Fire,
mind.
fire.
Watch.
Silver? Oh my god! Oh my god, hi! Oh my god!
Hi! Hello!
Hello.
Hello!
Hi!
Hey guys, what's up?
This is
Ross.
Silver, this is Cinder.
Hello,
Ross.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We're being swindled.
The trader's invisible, right?
Yeah,
I
he
heard
did
there
some
were
invisibility
saddles.
potions.
Oh, whoa, you tamed it.
I guess I did.
Wait, is this someone's house right here?
Or
It's
wish I
yours
had
now.
a
It's
saddle.
my storefront.
So
Really
pretty.
nice, man.
I'm
Yeah, so just to save you like a few minutes of your life, the encounter
What? This was actually it? Wait, I'm sorry. This is how I am. Yo. Oh, this is how I am. What?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi!
Hey guys, what's up?
This is
Ross.
Silver, this is Cinder.
Hello, Ross.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We're being swindled.
The trader's invisible, right?
Yeah,
I
he
heard
did
there
some
were
invisibility
saddles.
potions.
Oh, whoa, you tamed it.
I guess I did.
Wait, is this someone's... No, you end up fumbling, and that's funny. Okay. All right, leave me alone, bro. What I'm saying is, Cinder's acting awkward. She's awkward. Like, what is it? This is how I am. You know what I mean? When you guys see me collab with someone or something, I'm always just standing there. I'm like pretty fucking quiet. I'm like, yeah, and then like I'll walk away and be like, chat, I'm low-key scared.
this encounter so that
She's acting pretty fucking
you can make
awkward,
up your own
no?
mind. Watch.
She's like fake or something. I'm not gonna say anything about her personality because I don't want to get dragged on Twitter, bro.
Oh
my god. Oh my god, hi! Oh my god!
Hi! Hello!
Hello.
Hello.
Hi!
Hey guys, what's up?
This is
Ross.
Silver, this is Cinder.
Hello, Ross.
She's excited in how much money she'll make. She's like, how many clips can I farm off of this?
Nice to meet you.
We're being swindled.
The trader's invisible, right?
Yeah, he did some invisibility
saddles.
potions.
Oh, whoa, you tamed it.
Oh, it's Lena.
Is
this someone's house right here?
Or
It's
wish I
yours
had a
now.
It's
saddle.
my storefront.
So pretty.
I'm
Yeah, so just to save you like a few minutes of your life, the encounter would kind of just carry on being the same exact way. Cinder's friend, Lena, would be doing most of the conversation with Silver, and Cinder would just spectate, saying, wow, cool, awesome. But she'd
Okay.
never directly speak with Silvervale. They just
Damn. Okay. So you really didn't make an effort. Guys, I had an interaction with somebody on Minecraft recently. Do you guys want to see? See? This is an NPC, bro.
said hello to each other, and that was pretty much it. Regardless though, this was a very big deal for Cinder because it was the first time they had spoken verbally, and the only time they've ever interacted in a stream setting. The reason why she mentions this encounter is because this is what would make Cinder want to message Silvervale again
I love
on
my
Twitter
Dur house,
for the
bro.
first time since their little art misunderstanding that occurred back in 2021. She would even mention this in her apology in April of 2025, saying, "I tried reaching out some time ago to try to start up a friendly conversation to change things and make things right, say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors. But despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my own doubts and fear or harassment. I was pressured
I went somewhere for Halloween. I went to order pizza and I fumbled. Did you drop the pizza? Or did you fumble the order? Look, listen. So it's gonna have the bottom floor, right? And this is the bottom floor.
What's the floor gonna be made out of?
It might be made out of dirt.
Maybe we don't see the vision because your prescription is expired.
I promise. It's gonna look good. I mean it. It's gonna look really good. I promise. You gotta see the mission.
I can fix you.
Oh my god.
By the
Lock in, guys. What are y'all
Make
doing?
things right. Say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors. But despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my own doubts and fear or harassment. I was pressured by the community as a whole to try reaching out to collaborate since I got these messages so often comparing us, and I hoped we could work something out. Red would even talk about this with Nano as he was spilling the beans, saying Sinder DM'd Silver on Twitter before, asking to play Minecraft together since they were both really into it, and was never answered. And they're not Discord friends. Just so we're
Damn.
clear here, Silver didn't follow her, right? And you couldn't message Silver unless she followed you. So the only reason Sinder was able to message her was because back in 2021, Silver had messaged her first about the whole art misunderstanding. Sinder would say, "Hi Silver, I was wondering if you'd be down to hang out off stream sometime. Maybe we could play Minecraft together. I think the Bounce SMP Christmas update is coming soon and they just released cars to everyone. I'd love to get to know you." This will be on November 30th, 2022. Silver would end up replying 11
Oh my
months
God.
later on October 23rd, 2023.
2023? Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
She'd apologize for
god.
missing Cinder's message, saying, "I really prefer not to do collabs. It's nothing against you at all. I'm just more of a solo game streamer. I was really flattered that you were interested though. I'm still always down if you want to message or anything though. I'm rarely on Twitter, so messaging on Discord works too if you prefer that." But that's like almost a year later. Let's ignore the fact that Silver replied to her, okay? We're still in 2022 and Silver hadn't
Donald
replied
just like
yet.
me. Yo, same here. Psh, Isaac reached back to me a year later. Bam. Bao said a year later. Bam.
A couple days with that Silver replied to her, okay? We're still in 2022 and Silver
Oh
hadn't
my God,
replied
bro.
yet. A couple days would pass by after she would send a Twitter message and Cinder would remember about Aru's proposition. She'd message her again to see if she heard from Silvervale regarding the K9 collab.
Was it 2
and
years
Aru
for
would say that she-
Bao? Yeah, it was. It was 2 years. It was like a year for Isaac. I feel like the Isaac one was really valid. If a fucking woman DM'd him asking him, "Hey, 5 likes," or no, not 5 likes. "Hey, how many likes for you to wear this?" And the fucking, yeah, I would have Donald me too, is what I'm saying. When he messaged me back, or not even messaged me back, I was like expecting a message because I remember I had like just got back to my hotel from hanging out with my friends, and then I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I look and I go, "Oh!" I was like, "Oh my goodness, Isaac DM'd me on Discord." And then I remember just seeing my top message, like my last message to him, and I go, "What outfit did you send this man?" Oh boy. Again, like I said, I would have Donald me too. Okay? I would have done the same shit. Alright? I'm just saying it, chat. Annie. Listen! Okay, listen. In my defense, I have a lot of Juicy Couture. And I thought it would be really funny to see my guy friend wearing Juicy Couture. And then Isaac, not even gonna lie, he's like a very built guy, right? So it would be funny to see like this tall ass built guy wearing Juicy Couture. You know what I mean? I was thinking of like the humor sense, okay? I wasn't being weird about it. All right? Just know there was actual goofiness behind the message, okay? There was actual goofiness behind the message. I remember just like seeing the fucking last message I sent him and I go, "Yeah, you know what? I would have Donald me too, low key." We all know you want to see him in it for more than the funny. No, it's 100% for the funny. It's just, it would be really funny to like to see him wearing it like in a vlog one day or some shit. You know what I mean? He has to choose a color that like suits him though.
She'd message Silver again to see if she heard from Silvervale regarding the K9 collab, and Aru would say that she'd message Silver right now, and that would be the final time this collab would ever be mentioned from Cinder's perspective. Now, the next subsection is about people comparing her community name to Silvervale's community name. Silvervale called her community members Petal Pals, and Cinder would call them Pyropups.
Did it have to be specific pink? Why wasn't it a darker pink at least, or the cancer awareness ribbon pink at the very least? When you look at Juicy Couture, pink is like majority. Pink or black are like majority, like the first colors that popped up. And that was like the first one that popped up. And all I did was screenshot the image, basically. So, you know. Or maybe because I like pink.
Yes,
I don't know.
Said her community members Petal
know.
Pals, and Cinder would call them Pyropups. Yes, people have said that they sound similar and that Cinder copied her. Man, VTuber drama is actually so cringe. What am I doing with my life? In any case, just like with her design, Cinder would take the time here to show us that this was an original idea. She had come up with it herself, designing how her community members would look like, these little puppies, and would even link a YouTube VOD of a stream in which a viewer would donate, hey, you should call your community Pyropups, which is where she got the idea to call them that. Anyway, next thing you know, we're in April 2023, one hell of a time skip. And here we'd see how Cinder would rate Silvervale multiple times on Twitch, and according to Cinder, Silver would never thank her by name. She even links a VOD with a timestamp in which she rates her. Both Red and Cinder would keep track of how she would react to other people rating her, and they'd conclude that the only person she did this to was Cinder. The only person she didn't mention by name after being rated was Cinder. This would be something that Red would tell Nano as well as he was spilling the beans. At that point, both Red and Cinder would decide to message a friend of theirs who was also a friend of Silvervale. Cinder would vent about this, but Red would ask that friend if she could talk to Silver directly regarding the situation. A few days later, on the 26th of April 2023, Cinder and a friend of hers would be seen talking about how crazy it was that Silvervale had left Vtuber. This would lead Cinder to open up about how she believes that Silvervale hates her, saying, I'm pretty sure she hates me anyway, but that's another can of worms, hee hee. I'm glad us and our friends are actually genuine friends. She'd eventually...
Oh my god.
But that's another can of worms, hee hee. I'm glad us and our friends are actually genuine friends. She'd eventually open up this entire can of worms and would go through the entire backstory of her and Silvervale, going as far back as her ASMR persona and how Silvervale debuting with Vshoujo as her Cherry Blossom model inspired her to become Cinder, a completely different design. At some point, her friend would say, I've never understood why people would assume that. Like, why would you be silly enough to spend thousands on copying a big streamer? Cinder would reply to this message and say, somebody did that to me. And here she was referencing Spite, who has been a VTuber for longer than...
So you were aware of Spite, bro. Come on. So you were aware of Spite, and you were aware of, like, quote-unquote... Okay. Wow. Wow, bro.
on copying a big streamer. Cinder would reply to this message and say, somebody did that to me. And here she was referencing Spite, who has been a VTuber for longer than Cinder and who has her own section in this document. Cinder would then say this about the situation with Silver. It's just like a shadow over me all the time that unless I try to resolve it with her directly, it'll never go away. This was the motivation behind her wanting to announce her VTuber collectible figure before Silver does, so that people don't think she's copying her. She would explain that to her friend. Overall, this was definitely an important conversation to look at because it helps us further understand Cinder's thought process in regards to her desire to be friends with Silvervale. She saw this as the key to clear her name and get rid of all the haters who compared them as if they would vanish overnight. This made her want this to happen very badly, almost to an obsessive degree. Now, the next 24 pages would be a copy-paste repetition of DMs between Red and Nano, in which their gossiping arc would begin in May of 2023. Red would lay out the entire drama, and Nano would listen. Now, more things would happen in that same month of May 2023, one of them being Red opening up Discord and Twitch moderator applications, and one of Silver's mods applying. That
Bye,
person was
Andrew.
chosen because of their experience modding for another large VTuber, and he'll refer to them as Mod 1 from here on out. This will show up again later in the document, okay? Around that same day, Sinder would message Nano and ask her to record some voice lines for her lore video. She'd be doing this for many of her friends. This would specifically be for a segment in which she's overcome by negative voices in her head. She wanted her friends to voice them. She'd send Nano a list of these different negative voice lines, and 2 of them had to do with Silver. This is something that Sinder would admit herself in the document. The first one being, "You're just a copy," and the second one being, "Try to be original for once." This showed us how this was constantly a negative thought on Sinder's mind. A couple months later, in July 2023, Sinder's cup with gamer subs would finally release. She did everything she could to release it before Silvervale so that she's not compared to her. It was also very important to her to have the first cup with Nano's art on it. Sinder would show us what Silvervale's full color cup would look like, and then would show us her old cup design that she felt looked too similar to Silvervale. As you might remember, in Nano's section, she would make it a point to ask Nano to change to show us what Silvervale's full color cup would look like, and then would show us her old cup design that she felt looked too similar to Silvervale. As you might remember, in Nano's section, she would make it a point to ask Nano to change her pose so that people don't compare her to Silver. And yeah, one could definitely see that almost to a worrying degree. As if Nano had literally recycled Silvervale's pose. Anyway, the next 6 pages would be another copy-paste repetition of DMs between Red and Nano. This is where
I feel like this is like an issue once you hire like the same artist. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. Please, dude, I don't want to get sick. That's like genuinely what it feels like when you just happen to like hire the same artist.
Nano would mention that she'd be getting more commissions thanks to Cinder's popularity. Red would tell her about Silvervale being competition against his and Cinder's will, and Nano's eventual request
That's what
to
I was
stop
thinking.
mentioning
Yeah.
Silvervale. The next subsection would be about TwitchCon 2023 and the
Okay.
infamous picture of Cinder and Silvervale. If you remember, Silvervale in her document would pretty much say that this picture was taken without her consent, that Cinder had posted it to make it appear like they were friends, when Silver wanted nothing to do with her. Here's how Cinder would describe it in the document. Silver and I had back-to-back meet and greets at the Mythic Talent booth at TwitchCon. When mine ended, I saw her line wasn't busy, so I hopped into it to say hi to her. The last time I tried talking to her was my Twitter message about Minecraft almost a year earlier. Another friend of ours happened to be there to see Silver too, so I went in line with them. When I saw her, I congratulated her on her Novel Horizons figure and Starforge PC that were both displayed at Mythic's booth. Told her she should be proud of all the cool things she was doing recently, and I wished her luck on whatever she was planning next. Silver nodded along, thanking me, and I left. Red took a picture of me talking with her in the moment, which is not something either of us planned to do beforehand. Later in the day, I posted it on Twitter. I didn't see the harm in posting a cute picture of us together. We were both with Mythic Talent. Everyone wanted to see us interact, and showing us on friendly terms could stop the harassment. Cinder would then reference her apology from April 2025, in which she said, "The photo of me at the meet and greet was taken candidly and I thought it looked so cute, and I posted it without asking you which was wrong of me." And here we can see that tweet with an image of Cinder with Silvervale in front of her, again, virtual meet and greet, and the caption would be, "Stop by to say hi after my meet, Wolf Girls."
Hmm.
Alright, so here's the thing. Before we continue, I need to take a second to explain a pretty big misconception in the VTubing community.
Okay.
Cinder outlined these reasons for posting the image with Silvervale, saying, "I didn't see the harm in posting a cute picture of us together. We were both with Mythic Talent. Everyone wanted to see us interact, and showing us on friendly terms could stop the harassment." Now, while I'm sure that most people could empathize with the last point of wanting to stop harassment, the second point, saying everyone wanted to see us interact, was maybe subjective, but the first point of "we were both with Mythic Talent" shouldn't even be there. The reason for that is, Mythic Talent is a talent agency, yes, but many make the mistake of assuming it functions like a VTuber agency or
Who just said this earlier? I just said this earlier. Who just said this earlier? I just said this earlier. Who just said this earlier? I did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, pre-watch. No, it's because I looked into Mythic. And I was like, this is like the agency that I want to work with. Now, Mama doesn't know how to reach out to them. I will say it is an agency that helps you, the person that's working with them, get sponsors. You get a manager and they help you out. That is it. That is all they do. So being a part, the funniest thing too is that okay, so back to like the como se dice, the Shy Lily one, right? She constantly she constantly references that her and Lily are both partners. Now that I'm a part owner with Lily, now that I'm a part owner with Lily, now that I'm a part fucking owner with Lily, she constantly tags herself along with everybody else. And it's like, you really want it, like, what is it you're like, what is your deal with this? This is insane. And I've noticed it with the Lily part, bro. I was like, she's constantly referencing herself with Lily. Lily's part owner of Gamer Subs, yes, but you don't see her being like, I'm part owner with Russian Badger. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is it that's making you say these things? Like, why do you feel the need to fit in everybody else's shadow? No one put you in that bubble but yourself.
Corporation. Yes, but many make the mistake of assuming it functions like a VTuber agency or corporation, where the talent roster.
What does that mean? What the hell does that mean? She just wants to be an arm and an arm. It seems like it means to be feel important and validated. Does this go back to fuck? I wish that therapist was here again. There was somebody yesterday. I think their name was Bad. They were saying like she has like the complexity of like wanting to feel validated and stuff, you know what I mean? She probably didn't have friends in high school or some shit, so you know, the need to feel important and the praise that she gets like from online fuels it so much. And I was like, wow, that's low-key sad. I would really hate to live by the validation of other people. You know what I mean? I just think it's really funny because I just don't even like attention, so I hate attention. Main character syndrome. Yeah, that's what I said too. I said main character syndrome. Okay, what is this? This says a persistent feeling of inadequacy and insecurity stemming from real and imagined what the fuck? What's this? Inferiority complex involves deep-seated feelings that you are not good as others, whether intelligence, looks, social skills, or accomplishments. These feelings can cause negative self-talk and a sense of inadequacy that consistently impacts your life. Symptoms: withdrawal, avoiding social situations and new activities because of fear of judgment or failure. Well, she does not do that, bro. I'll be so fucking for real. Overcompensation, trying to prove one's worth through excessive competition, aggressiveness, or finding fault in others. Yes, that is what she does a lot. Perfectionism, striving for perfection, often fueled by the fear of making a mistake or not being good enough, maybe. And self-perception, constant self-criticism, difficulty accepting compliments, and a belief that one is inherently flawed. I don't know if she feels that way. Doesn't sound like it, to be honest. Yeah, but Badger is just Badger. He's just the guy, pretty much, if that makes any sense. Yeah, but he's part owner. He's part owner. And also, like, him and Lily had, like, a little healthy competition going on. Remember? Didn't they have, like, a little healthy competition going on? So you would think that, like, she would go out her way and be like, oh, me and Badger are part owners now. You know what? Do you see what I'm saying?
Path. All right, they can go to hell because I'm going to sponsor myself and give away 50,000 free sample packs of my energy drink, Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000.
Let's go.
That punch a hole in your drywall and refuse to fix it for 2 weeks pack. That shovel your driveway with a lawnmower and sue the HOA for giving you lit pack. That metal pipe falling sound effect distilled into a green liquid pack.
Oh shit, I dropped the metal pipe I was holding.
I'm fucking begging you to drink Gamer Fart because on a recent trip to Gamer Subs, the maker of my energy drink, which I own a part of, they told me that I am currently being outsold by Shy Lily.
Who's
Her
that
flavor,
beautiful
Butthole
face?
Blast, is more popular than mine. Even my own wife won't drink any other flavor. But I refuse to be beaten by an Orca JPEG VTuber. So the first 50,000 use code HARPOON.
Not the Orca
Will get a free
JPEG.
sample pack, free shipping, and 105 free stickers of me saving a fish from drowning. You know, just to show Lily that I stand in solidarity with the aquatic community. Or whatever. Gamer Fart is a tiny ass scoop you add to water with 100
Can I get
milligrams
a
of caffeine
sticker
that doesn't
too?
spike your blood sugar.
It honestly feels more like Sinder has a superiority complex, the other side of the coin of inferiority complex. Fuck, I have to read that one now. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck, I'm not even gonna remember these definitions. Superiority complex, a psychological trait characterized by inflated sense of self-worth and belief in being better than others, often mistaking feelings as insecurity or inferiority. Characteristics exaggerated. Oh wait. Oh no, someone said this yesterday. I think it was that person that came by. It was the bad person. There was somebody in chat yesterday that said that they study psychology. They study psychology, and they definitely did mention this. Exaggerated. Oh, actually, no. These are the same definitions for main character syndrome. I think main character syndrome also has superiority complex as well. No. Yeah, no. This is like literally the same definition of main character syndrome. A belief in one's ability and achievements are so... Wait, main character syndrome. Let's see. Self-importance, believing in one's life story is more significant than others and viewing events than the lens of your own narrative. Exaggerated self-importance, a belief in one's achievements are far more greater than others. Boast or arrogant attitude, frequently bragging about accomplishments and presenting oneself as superiority. Seeing friends as supporting characters and strangers. Oh my god. What the fuck? Low empathy, difficult seeing things from other people's perspectives, leading to a lack of genuine connection and potentially straining relationships. A sense of self and that depends on external validation and constantly seeking attention and admiration. Accepting life-changing moments to occur at specific times and viewing setbacks as opportunities for character development. Feeling disappointed when life doesn't follow expected plot points. Oh my fucking god, what the fuck? Main character syndrome is not a real diagnose. Yeah, I know it's not a real diagnose, but it fucking like makes sense. No one wants to hear. I think I would rather call someone main character. I would be like, yo, you act like a main character. I would use that as an insult, you know what I mean? Because if I tell them they have a superiority complex, they would not give a fuck. You gotta hit them where it hurts. Be like, think you're a main character, but you're just an NPC.
They could be there. The reason for that is Mythic Talent is a talent agency, yes, but many make the mistake of assuming it functions like a VTuber agency or corporation, where the talent roster is expected to interact in order to boost their own popularity while also boosting their agency's popularity. As you might already know, I happen to be with Mythic, okay? And one of the first things I was told as I was being pitched the idea of joining by their staff was, we are not a VTuber agency like Bishoujo or Nijisanji, for example. This means that if you just so happen to be a fan of someone that's in our agency, it doesn't give you the right to message them, interact with them, or collab with them. Your talent manager can maybe reach out to their talent manager, but if they signal no interest in interacting with you, then that's it. There's nothing else we can do. And I mean, think about it. If that wasn't the case, then I'm pretty sure everyone in this agency would have collabed with Queso by now.
That's
okay,
true.
Seeing that he's also signed with Mythic Talent. I just thought this was important info to get out of the way because it's not explained in the document, and also I've been seeing a lot of people online talk about Mythic as if it's a full-fledged VTuber agency. It's not. And just because you happen to be in it, it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna bring this up again too. There are people replying to this post right here, by the way. There are people on my Twitter replying to this post where I had said, where is it? I said, guys, I'm like 3 hours in the video, watching this in parts, and I just want to say, what the fuck? The quote retweets and the replies to the fucking video, I'm not even joking, are literally saying Mujin is like being biased, and it makes sense for him to be biased because he's in Mythic. And I was like, what does him being in Mythic have to do with anything? And so then I looked more into it, and it's because Lily's also in Mythic. And I was like, what is him and a Lily being in Mythic have to do with anything? And then now that he's talking about it, that people are confusing this with like an actual like agency, I'm just like, oh my fucking god. There's no way that we're actually like running with that narrative. Are you dead ass? What?
In regards to who you, because it's not explained in the document. And also, I've been seeing a lot of people online talk about Mythic as if it's a full-fledged VTuber agency. It's not. And just because you happen to be in it, it doesn't mean much in regards to who you can interact with. I should also mention that Sinder has not been with Mythic for a while now, but I'm not sure if her departure had anything to do with Silvervale or the drama that happened in April 2025. In any case, after seeing her in person, Sinder would ask her Mythic talent manager to reach out to Silvervale to see if she was interested. 3 days later, Silvervale would respond to Cinder's Twitter DM that was sent 11 months beforehand, and they added each other on Discord. This is when Sinder would show her entire chat history with Silvervale. It would be a direct continuation of their Twitter DMs. After saying hi and going on about how she got sick from TwitchCon, Sinder would get down to business and say that if Silver wasn't interested in stream collabs, then maybe they can do sponsorships, merch, music, or something else, echoing what Red told Nano at some point. I believe he said something along the lines of, "Imagine the money they could make."
Oh my god. I saw someone in your comment section that gave that okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I saw someone in your comment sections that say you have a bias, you realize that you and Cinder share the same fans, right? Yeah, somebody said that. Someone said that like people have been telling me that recently. More and more people have been telling me that recently since she's came back. And low key, all I'm gonna say is I don't give a fuck. Us having an overlap or share the same fans does not. Did you want me to like change my opinion? Happy for you that your Oshi's back, bro. Happy for you. All right? I'm happy for you. What the fuck? What do you want me to say? I'm gonna save my shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say the shit that I want to say, dude. There's a lot of creators that I don't fuck with and our communities overlap. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Half the time I don't even talk about them too. So it's like, what do you want me to do? What is that? Like, that's not gonna make me change my mind. My thought was just, don't you also have a bias? That's what I'm saying. Like, we're both biased. That's your Oshi that I'm talking shit about. And I'm just minding my business. But I'm talking my shit. I'd rather turn Cinder fans away than hold back what I want to say. Like, I've expressed, like, how I actually felt about, like, Cinder fans and stuff like that. You know, the Pyro Pups, you know what I mean? I think they're pretty chill. You know what I mean? That's a W that they're that loyal. It's also scary that they're that loyal. You know what I mean? That they waited that long. But also W because they're loyal. They waited for their Oshi to come back. And I think that's huge. And all I ask is don't do the same shit that you did before, bro. Don't do the same shit that you did before. And I'm not talking about the Pyro Pups. I'm talking about the Oshi. I say it's kind of pathetic, but that's just me. Nah, dude. I'm not gonna dog on someone for being interested, like, into, like, having, like, their hobby. That's their hobby, you know what I mean? Supporting their Oshi is their hobby, so. They probably had nothing. It was probably work, wake up, work, come home, sleep. You know what I mean? Now it's wake up, work, come home, watch Oshi, and then sleep. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes a person going live could be someone's reason, like, to keep going. So I'm not gonna dog on that. Would you rather have Cinder fans or Dream fans? I think I'd just rather... Where's the option to, like, exit, dude? I don't know what else to tell you. That's what's kind of scared me about her community. They're pretty loyal. I think the other side is also, like, pretty toxic, too. We can acknowledge that as well. They're pretty fucking toxic. You know what I mean? There's another side that's, like, super fucking toxic.
Because Nano at some point. I believe he said something along the lines of down to business.
I saw that message too. I definitely did see that comment. I was like, that's not gonna, what do you want me to say? My fans overlap so much from so many other creators. You know what I mean? So there's got to be one fan in my chat that's like an actual like Dream stan.
Say that if Silver wasn't interested in stream collabs, then maybe they can do sponsorships, merch, music, or something else, echoing what Red told Nano at some point. I believe he said something along the lines of, imagine the money they could make, because they were perfect for each other. They just fit their theme perfectly. This is when Silver would say she's flattered and that she appreciates the persistence. However, she wasn't interested in transactional relationships with anyone. Cinder would reply and say that she completely understands and congratulated Silver on her new model teaser. Silver would thank her and wished her the best. The next 4 messages that were shown in these DMs would be from Cinder, as Silver just simply wouldn't reply anymore. Cinder would specify in her document that while Red was more focused on the business side of things, especially seeing that there were dozens and dozens of her fans asking for a collab, she just wanted to fix whatever problems Silver had with her, all in an effort to be on good terms and maybe lessen.
Okay, it also does not help that you mention, oh, I just want to fix whatever problem we have with each other. I just need to fix the problem. I just want to collab and hang out. I just want to fix it. But you also fail to fucking mention we can get merch, music, sponsorships, any kind of projects together if she doesn't want to actually collab with you. So you resort to something that financially benefits you. What are you talking about? You and your husband said as well that you would benefit. You both would benefit so much fucking finances if you guys just collabed together or did something together. Be so for real. Come on, man.
Thank her and wished her the best. The next 4 messages that were shown in these DMs would be from Sinder, as Silver just simply wouldn't reply anymore. Cinder would specify in her document that while Red was more focused on the business side of things, especially seeing that there were dozens and dozens of her fans asking for a collab, she just wanted to fix whatever problems Silver had with her, all in an effort to be on good terms and maybe lessen the harassment. One of the 4 messages that Cinder sent Silvervale was her congratulating her on her gamer subs drop, saying that she got everything in the mail and that it looks amazing. Cinder would argue that this was used against her in Silver's document. We'll get to that later. In any case, the next 6 pages in this document would be more DMs between Red and Nano that we already saw in Nano's section. They would detail the entire process of Nano canceling Silver's model and Red arguing that he didn't manipulate her to do so. On the 16th of February 2024, Cinder would send a message in her DMs with Silver, in which she congratulated her on her new model debut, but also pointed out that she couldn't send messages in her Twitch chat for some reason. In the document, Cinder would say that even though she was being ghosted, she still clung onto the hope that they could make amends, and always gave the benefit of the doubt to Silver for missing these messages. She'd then say, there were multiple times I thought to just straight up ask her about the problems between us so we could try and work our differences out, but I never had the courage to send that message. Look, at this point, to say that Cinder clung on to hope can either be seen as optimistic or just straight up devoid of any logic, maybe even naive. At the same time, Silver should have definitely been more direct at this point, but one could argue that Cinder was so persistent that maybe she was scared to be blunt with her. So yeah,
I'm gonna raid Wounds, and if he doesn't say my name, I'm adding him on Twitter. At Wounds. What the fuck, man?
We can definitely try our best to understand that maybe she was scared to be blunt with her. So yeah, we can definitely try our best to understand the logic here, but it won't do much at this point because things will only get worse from
Wounds
here.
is so cool.
The next subsection
He's such a great
would be
friend,
on
Chan.
April 2024, and it would start off with something similar to the gamer.
If someone doesn't respond the first 50 times, maybe they want to be left alone. That's how I felt like, that's how I feel low key. I always get Donawalled. I never send a follow reply back chat. Cause I'm like, oh, okay, well they didn't reply to this message, so I'm gonna just go off and do my own thing. You know what I mean? Wounds is funny. He's so great, dude. He's so good. He's so good. Ghoul. I was gonna say ghoul. Holy fuck. He's so cool. Best Oshi ever.
She was scared to be blunt with her.
Oh no, not this clip. Why? Anything but this clip, bro. Oh. Go Wounds. Oh my god. I was like watching him playing. I'm like, god damn. I'm like low-key jealous. He just couldn't ever give me touches. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna hide him away and take his identity and take his skills.
Should I be worried? What does hide him away mean? She gonna kill me and wear my skin? What does that mean? I love Counter-Strike. Man, I love Counter-Strike, dude. Is she gonna kidnap me? Should I lock my doors? I'm kind of scared. Bro, if she comes anywhere near me, I'm just gonna pull out my AK, one tap her. I'm gonna pull out my Deeg, hit a tap strafe, one tap. I'm gonna pull out my op, double zoom flick shot. Damn.
That's my Oshi.
So yeah,
that's my
Oshi argue that
Oshi.
Cinder was so persistent that maybe she was scared to be blunt with her. So yeah, we can definitely try our best to understand the logic here, but it won't do much at this point because things will only get worse from here.
It would be hilarious if he gave you his model to use for a stream. That'd be so cool. I would make the hair pink.
But it won't do much. So yeah, we can definitely try our best to understand the logic here, but it won't do much at this point because things will only get worse from here. The next subsection would be on April 2024, and it would start off with something similar to the GamerSupps Cup fiasco, except this time it would be about a GamerSupps flavor. In this instance though, Sinder wouldn't be able to release her product before Silver, and would claim to have received harassment because of it. Silver would release her product on April 19th, 2024, my birthday, and Sinder would release it on the 26th of April 2024, so a week later. Regardless,
April. Okay, so April 19th. I'm so confused.
and Sinder would release it on the 26th of April 2024, so a week later. Regardless though, Sinder would still make it a point to message Silver. On Discord congratulating her on her new flavor. However, this would be the last message she'd ever send her on Discord. All of this had happened in April 2024. This leads us to the next major event in this Silvervale section, which would take place on May 7th, 2024 during
Chat, if I had a flavor, I'd definitely make it like a soda flavor, you know what I mean? It has to be like a soda flavor. Something orange. I love orange, like flavored anything. Orange creamsicle. That's why I liked Anime Girl Thighs so much, because it's orange creamsicle. I'm not even joking. Listen to this. Listen to this. That is a jar full of candy. I went through all of the Halloween candy and took out all of the orange flavored candy. A lot of it's wrappers. I'm not gonna lie. I was already eating through them. But I love anything orange flavor. Yeah, I love anything orange flavor. I had to like think about it for a second. I love it. It's so fucking good.
All of this had happened.
A lot of it's wrappers though.
This leads us to the next major event in this Silvervale section, which would take place on May 7th, 2024 during a round of new mod applications for Sinder. Here's what was written in the document. I had mod applications open again, and another 2 of Silvervale's moderators applied after being encouraged by Mod 1. Red messaged Mod 1 for their opinion on these new applicants. They've been modding for Silver for almost 2 years alongside them. Red then asked about me being restricted in her Twitch chat a few months earlier and if there were any problems her mod team had with me since Mod 1 had been around for a long time. Mod 1 had asked Red to keep their conversations private from Sinder. She'd say, I was never told about these conversations Red was having with them or what he was told by Mod 1 over the following year, until Red and I were putting this document together. So bear in mind, these conversations happened in May 2024 and Sinder would only discover this after being cancelled. Red would chime in and say, I want to apologize to Mod 1 for including our messages here. I hope you understand. So, in other words, this was Red admitting that he didn't even ask Mod 1's permission to show these DMs to the public, even though that Mod had told him to keep this information private. So in these DMs, Mod 1 would say that he had encouraged a couple of Silvervale mods to apply. He'd also revealed that he had incorporated an idea in Silvervale's server that was already present in Cinder's. It worked well, but the response he claims he got from Silvervale was, well, I'm glad you like modding for Sinder more than me. A day later, Red would end up accepting the 2 Silvervale mods who applied due to their experience and recommendation from Mod 1. 16 days later, on May 24th, 2024, Silvervale would post her own version of an emote with the caption saying, hi. Sinder would reply with her own version of that emote also saying, hi.
Oh. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Hi. Sinder would reply with her own version of that emote also saying, hi. An hour later, Silvervale would delete her tweet. Sinder claims that this was the last time she had ever attempted to interact with Silvervale, and that this, after
God damn, bro. Oh my god.
many years, would be the turning point in which she'd finally lose hope of fixing things between Silver and herself. A day later, Red would message Mod 1 about this incident, to which Mod 1 would admit that the reason why this happened was because a Silvervale subscriber had shared Cinder's post in the subscriber-only chat in her Discord. A few other subs would see that post, and would start to ask for a collab between both Cinder and Silver. This would
someone had shared the post in her sub chat, and a few people said they had wished for a collab, and then an hour later, all the messages were gone. So you're telling me, not only are the fans? Oh, hello. Who? I got so scared. Aw, Rat. Yo, Rat's so nice. Anyways, not only are her fans like being like, I want to collab. I want to see a collab with them so badly. I need to see a collab with them so badly. Not only is she having to hear this bullshit from like her fans, but she's also having to hear this fucking bullshit from Sinder. So it's like, and in a way, she's kind of encouraging that behavior, if that makes sense. She is very much 100% encouraging that behavior. Interesting. Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Would lead Silvervale to delete that post and would start to ask for a collab between both Sinder and Silver. This would lead Silvervale to delete her tweet and had her mods delete any mention of a
Sinder acts like an over-obsessive fan. Yeah, she does, dude. This is like low-key weird.
collab with Sinder in her channel. So at this point, Mod1 was like a mole for Red. He'd ask him to monitor things and he'd report whenever something would happen in Silver's server. On the 30th of May 2024, Mod1 would message Red telling him that more of Cinder's emotes got blacklisted in Silver's chat. More specifically, an emote that featured Cinder drinking from a gamer sub's cup. On the 24th of June, Mod1 would tell Red that he thinks Silver canceled her stream due to Cinder's 2nd anniversary celebration that was coming up. He would quote a sentence in her cancellation announcement in which she said, "Thanks to those that still watch me." Because of this, Mod1 would say, "I wouldn't have thought anything of it if it wasn't finished off with that little statement." A day later, Red would message Mod1 asking him if he and the other mods modding for Cinder caused them trouble in regards to how Silvervale treated them. Mod1 would say that nothing happened as far as he was aware, but that he has no respect for petty drama, and saw himself stepping down from Silver's mod team in the future. On the 11th of July 2024, Mod1 would message Red yet again about Silvervale's chat drama, showing 2 screenshots of mods talking on her server. In the first image, you can see mods talking about how the chat restriction worked. You type Cinder, and Twitch would say your message could not be sent. In the second screenshot, one of those same mods would give an analogy in order to indirectly explain why this was happening to begin with, saying, "Let's say you're my neighbor, and every morning on my way to my car you say hello and try to draw attention towards yourself from the crowd of people that are for some reason also watching me walk to my car. I have told you in private multiple times to very nicely please leave me alone in every aspect of my life. I have never walked over to your driveway and attempted to draw attention to me from the crowd that watches you walk to your car. I have never even set foot on your property. You continue to show up in the morning in my driveway. You continue to show up in the morning in my driveway regardless." To Cinder, this didn't make any sense, right? Silver had never so explicitly expressed the desire to be left alone in DMs, instead always being friendly, which makes her speculate that she had told her mods a different story. And I'm sure if we were to look at this from Silver's perspective, she had expressed this, but in the nicest way possible. Mod1 would continue to provide the tea. He'd send a screenshot to Red in which we can see him talking to another one of Silvervale's mods. In this image, he would be the one in green. The other mod was venting to Mod1 about how Silver apparently begged for help from him, but then would ignore him when she didn't need him. He said that she offered him $500 to help her fix her Skyrim mods. He'd try, but then he'd fail, and she'd make him feel like a loser for that, even though he tried for over 10 hours. This was all used to highlight that Silvervale was unstable, mean, petty, and I guess to Red, it would be justification that in this issue, him and Cinder were the good guys. After sending this image, the conversation between Red and Mod1 would continue, with Red confirming that he'd not told Cinder about any of their conversations, and Mod1 would express yet again that he wasn't sure whether he'd continue modding for Silver. The last messages in these DMs that were included in the document are of Red and Mod1 criticizing and making fun of the fact that many of Silvervale's mods happen to be high-paying Patreon subscribers, with Red confused about how she can even maintain a community. So yeah, we're not even halfway through the document, and every time you think it can't get messier, it somehow does. By now, Cinder's perspective is well understood. She feels as though she did nothing wrong while receiving harassment over copying someone that she just wished to be friends with. Silvervale's perspective isn't talked about so much in this document, but she cannot for the life of her tell Cinder straight to her face how she feels, at least not as explicitly as Cinder would like. This could be explained with the idea that Silvervale is very scared of igniting public drama, especially after she had been ruthlessly harassed, doxxed, and bullied to tears over her Hogwarts Legacy drama back in 2023, a year prior. If you want to see more details about that, you can watch my video about Vshoujo. But for the time being, Cinder and Silver were like oil and water, and it took Cinder a very long time to realize that, thinking for years that they were more like peanut butter and jelly. Now, the next instance in which Sinder found herself struggling about Silver would be yet another GamerSupps product.
Oh my
As
god.
early as March 2024, her and Red would start planning a merch drop for her upcoming anniversary in June 2025. It wasn't going to be ready in time, so they decided to push it to August 16th alongside her new bikini model debut. At first, Sinder claims that GamerSupps confirmed this could be possible. 2 months later, they'd be told that they couldn't launch it that day since another similar creator to them was having their own drop, and it was requested earlier than them at the start of the year. Sinder says that normally this wouldn't have mattered much, but with Red piecing it together and coming to the conclusion that this must have been Silvervale, it was different. Here's how she described it in the document. Once Red figured out it was her who was launching something at the same time as me for the third time in a row, unintentionally throwing a wrench in things again, and after my interactions with her since TwitchCon is when I became competitive towards Silver.
Well, weren't you the one that was like trying to like get your shit out before her? Were you not doing that first? But it's an issue when she does it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Doubled down on trying to launch the weekend of the 16th, if not on the 16th itself. We did eventually compromise to launch the week before on August 9th, even if it wouldn't be alongside my debut. However, a couple weeks before the release, we were told the 16th was suddenly available, so we moved my drop to that day. Silver launched her birthday merch drop with her new 3D model debut on August 13th, a day after her birthday, and I launched my merch drop alongside my bikini outfit debut on August 16th. Sinder would then show us the art Silver used to showcase her new 3D models, two different outfits. She'd then show us the art she made by the same artist, implying that it was copied. Now,
oh my god. Oh no.
she'd then show us the art she made by the
Yo, you gotta get a new artist. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to say. Like, if this is gonna be an issue, you gotta get a new artist, man. Oh no. Wait, it doesn't even look anything alike. The only like similarity is that you both have like your outfits.
Silver used to showcase her new 3D models, two different outfits. She'd then show us the art she made by the same artist.
Dude, come on. This has gotta be like a huge stretch. Oh my god.
Implying that it was copied. Now, I do find it interesting that Sinder, in her own explanation, said that Silver was unintentionally throwing a wrench in things again, which seems to be a very reasonable conclusion. It was Silver's birthday at the time. It happens the same year every year. This is something that you can plan for. And yet Sinder decided to debut her bikini outfit around that time. In fact, Cinder's anniversary as a VTuber would be every June, 2 months before Silver's birthday. So is this constant overlap around every summer really a surprise at this point? Is there no way to plan for it beforehand? I think that's worth asking. Anyway, the next 3 pages would be the same exact pages we saw in Nano's section, where Red would talk to Artist 1 about an exclusivity deal, which would then prompt him to propose the same idea to Nano. Now, there would be 1 page after that with new info about a certain Artist 2. Here, Red wouldn't be in DMs, he'd be in the project server with Sinder present, and he'd ask Artist 2 if they were interested in narrowing down their client list for being paid extra. They sounded open to the idea, but gave no final answer. The next 4 pages would be yet again be a repetition of Nano's section, in which Nano would cancel her exclusivity deal so that she could go work with Silvervale again. She'd also make sure to personally message Cinder to explain the situation. After this, the document decides to
that's
not
literally
keep a linear
basically what it
timeline anymore,
is.
going back
That's
in
what
time
she's
instead of
acting like,
forward.
dude.
We're now in March 2024. And the reason why this happens is to show Mod1 messaging Red about how a user got banned in Silver's chat for saying that she should collab with Cinder. Later that day, that same mod would tell Red how he suffered rude behavior from another Silvervale mod simply for having pulled Cinder's card in VCard.
Go home,
I have
buddy.
truly never felt more unemployed in my life. The next thing that would happen would be us jumping in time again, and now we're in March 2025. This is where, yet again, Red would choose to take matters into his own hands, and instead of messaging Artist 2 in the project server where Cinder was present, as he had done before, he would choose to DM them. He wouldn't tell Cinder about this, and in the document he'd say, I didn't have a reason for not telling Cinder about this, I just didn't. In these DMs, Red would explain the drama to Artist 2 between Cinder and Silvervale, and would ask him to not work with Silvervale ever again, seeing that she had been a client before in the past. It's not clear whether this deal actually ended up going through, but seeing that this was like a month before Cinder got cancelled, I'm just gonna assume assume that it didn't. We now find ourselves in April 2025, the month of Cinder's cancellation, but in its beginning, not in its end. More specifically, the 11th of April. And again, we'd find ourselves in a very familiar situation involving none other than gamer subs. Here's how Sinder would describe it. I launched my AFK flavor and merch, and the very next week, Silver drops her Pixel merch drop, making this the 4th time our gamer subs drops have been released back to back. The first time was to try and release my cup ahead of hers, and they happened to be back to back. The second time with our flavors could have been a coincidence, and the third time was bad.
Give me 1 second. How it works is you pick a month, chat, that you want to drop your things. If you have merch, you pick a month of where you want to drop your things. They give you basically a calendar and let you know, like, hey, okay, you pick this month. Here are the drops that are happening this month, basically, right? And it's like, oh, okay. They give you the calendar to show you don't overlap the same day that someone else is dropping. You know what I mean? And that is it. That is all it goes. You pick a month and you pick a day. That is it. Any specific days and times? I don't think the times matter. It's just the days. They're like, hey, here's a calendar. It shows you the days that you can and can't pick. So if you see something right here, you can't pick that day. If you don't see anything here, you totally can. And I remember I wanted my drop in July. I wanted my cup to drop in July on my birthday. I was like, oh, fire. That would mean so much to me if it could just drop on my birthday. Nobody was at the HQ. No one was at HQ, basically. So I had to wait a month for my managers to come back. And be like, yeah, we can't do it in July, but we could do it in August. And I was like, oh, okay, fire. You know what? That's fine then. So we had it on the 16th. Of August, because I was like, you know what? It's a month later, but it still means something. It's a month later, but it still means something, I suppose. It's still a drop at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm trying to understand if you guys are trying to get out sooner, you know what I mean? You guys are trying to get out sooner before her. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. They give you the calendar of your drop, basically. You know what I mean? They give you a calendar of your drop. You gotta do all these things. But then again, you pick a day and you let them know, and they'll just let you know if the day is taken or not. Because I remember talking to my manager and being like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get the deal, bro. I don't understand what the fuck is going on here. Because... Why? Why are we like this, man? Why are we like this, chat? Why? Why are we, like, in a fucking competition?
Timing of hers, and they happen to be back to back. The second time with our flavors could have been a coincidence, and the third time was bad timing. For it to happen again, randomly in April, separate from any other events, was weird. So yeah, Sinder would release her AFK flavor, and then Silver would release her Pixel merch on
Does Todd work with her too? No, I don't ever ask him who he works with. Sometimes he'll tell me. He randomly tells me, and I'm like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. He'll just like randomly tell me, but I don't ever ask who else he works with because I feel like it's none of my business.
So yeah, Sinder would release her AFK flavor, and then Silver would release her Pixel merch on April 11th, so a week later. I just want to point out that Sinder was releasing a flavor.
I'm popping in to show my friend. Wait, what are you showing your friend? This is like the worst time you could show your friend we're watching drama.
April 11th, so a week later. I just want to point out that Sinder was releasing a flavor, Silver was releasing merch. So even though they were releasing two things with gamer subs, they were not related at all. In any case, when Silvervale would release her merch drop on the 11th of April, Red would put on his detective hat and ask Artist One if he was the one who photographed Silvervale's merch drop. This was yet again a conversation that Sinder had no idea about. Red would be able to conclude that since the artist took the pictures of Silverveil's merch at the end of February, that would mean that it had been 2 months since the merch drop was ready to release, and yet here it was releasing beside Cinder's drop. This would be when Red would spill the lore on the drama between Cinder and Silver to Artist 1. And at some point,
dude.
Artist 1 would say, from my experience...
He's gotta go. He's gotta go, man. I think throughout this entire... Como se dice? Throughout this entire video, it's just been Red, bro. It's just been Red. Bro showing the friend the pink god streamer. Oh god, no, don't show them me.
She's always been kind to me, but communications are a bit sporadic. But I did have the opportunity to get to know her a bit better before outside of work topics, like a bit on her personal life.
He vented right in front of everyone.
Like she used to do cosplay and compete too, so I was like, damn, she'd get along well with Cinder. Red would of course agree wholeheartedly, saying they're very similar people. And from the start, I said they'd get along great, until we found out Silver had an ego. We've asked to do sponsors together with Mythic, we've asked to do merch together with Gamersubs, you know, besides just stream collabs, and all the fans want it, but there's one person in the way of that happening. Sorry, blank. It's just a very loaded topic. 5 years in the making. So again, same opinions echoed by Red in the past would be echoed again, and it didn't seem like he was ever going to change his mind. The conversation would go on for a bit longer, but nothing notable would be really said. A couple days later, Artist 1 would personally decide to message Cinder, and here's how she would describe it in the document. Artist 1 messaged me in our DMs to ask if Red had told me about this conversation with them about Silver 3 days earlier.
Oh shit.
Red never told me about this himself, the same way he never told me about his conversation with Nano about Shy Lily days earlier. His messages with Mod 1 and Artist 2 about Silverveil, or that Bao and Cotton were part of his exclusivity deal with Nano. And so she'd include the conversation she had with Artist 1, but nothing noteworthy would be said. And so barely 12 days later, Cinder would be cancelled. This is why the next subsection would be called Breaking Down Silverveil's Document. Here's how Cinder would introduce it. In the events regarding Nano, Silverveil, like my friends, only knew what information Nano shared. I won't be adding or addressing most of the DM screenshots shown in Silver's document since they were all present within Nano's document, and the full conversations were already shown. After going through the things Silver wrote, I'll address the many things she claimed on her stream. So as Cinder had stated in what I just read, she would go ahead and dissect Silverveil's document and comment on individual paragraphs. Now you might be wondering, Mujin, why did you skip Cinder's dissection of Bao's and Nano's documents?
Oh my god, not a water leak. I wish you good luck fixing that, holy shit. I'm so sorry.
In the breakdown section, I already explained, it's due to repetition, but you know what, I won't skip it here and you'll see for yourself. It'll just be Cinder repeating what she's talked about in this section or the other ones. So Silver would start off by saying that even though most of the screenshots provided by Nano featured Red, she found it impossible that he acted by himself and without Cinder's consent, seeing to what extent he represented her publicly and professionally. Cinder would say that Silver had no knowledge about how she and Red conducted themselves together and how she was just agreeing with the narrative the other accusers had decided upon, pushing all the blame onto her. In the next paragraph, Silver would express how heartbroken she was over Nano being manipulated and treated like a tool. Cinder would reiterate that Nano was not manipulated, abused, or treated like a tool in the 4 years they worked together. Next, Cinder would show us the screenshot in which Red is proposing an exclusivity deal to Nano, where she wouldn't work with Bao, Cotton, or Silver ever again, models or art. She'd cut off the final message by Nano in which she'd say, "It do be fair, but okay. Can I ask for a demon Cinder figure?" The full image, though, would be in Bao's document. This was Cinder arguing that Silver had cut off this part on purpose in order to make her look worse. Then came the juiciest part of Silverveil's document, in a section titled Cinder and I. She'd say, discovering that all of this was going on behind the scenes has been gut-wrenching. I didn't know Cinder, we weren't friends, and we have barely talked. Even writing this, I do not understand what I could have possibly done to warrant the level of malice and cruelty shown. In our private interactions, I was as cordial as possible, but I just wasn't interested in associating with her professionally or being her friend. From the few uncomfortable interactions I did have with her, I had gotten the vibe that her primary goal was to climb the social and content ladder and grow her brand. I am fully aware how common that attitude is, and that's just how you grow in this sphere, but I personally don't have the emotional fortitude or bandwidth to have for the express purpose of growth. For the record, I think it's fine to have that view and approach to content creation, but I also reserve the right to simply not vibe with someone. I would much rather not associate with someone at all than pretend to be their friend for the purpose of growing my brand.
Ooh.
Here's how Cinder would respond to this, saying, I drew fan art of us. I asked to hang out offline to get to know each other, and I went to see her at public events. When finally given the chance to ask her, she refused any kind of business relationship. I was okay with it. I accepted it. That's what Red prioritized me pursuing. I just wanted to try to be her friend, and if not friends, then at least on good terms.
No, you did not! Anniepants, you liar! You lie!
She's absolutely correct in saying that she has the right to not vibe with someone. She was never obligated to be my friend, but instead of telling me that directly, she was completely two-faced to me. I did nothing wrong to her, and yet she still held some hatred against me for existing alongside her.
Wow.
The next paragraph in Silver's document would be about how Sinder would ask her Mythic talent manager to reach out to Silver, and how she declined her proposition of collabing on merch with other various collabs that were meant to be monetized. She didn't want to be used transactionally. Sinder would re-explain her logic of reaching out to her through Mythic since they were both in the agency and she had just met her at TwitchCon at a Mythic meet and greet panel. She would say that Silver made the decision to message her on Twitter, and would express confusion over how she was nothing but nice to her in DMs, saying things such as, "I'm always down to message or anything," while never telling her off or directly saying she doesn't want to talk. She'd also point out that their DMs were cropped out, not showing how Sinder completely understood Silver not being interested in monetized collabs, and how the next messages were Sinder congratulating her and wishing her well. Sinder would then go ahead and explain how 2 messages from Red that were sent to Nano in DMs were presented out of order in Silver's document in order to make her and him look bad. However, it's important to point out that they were presented in the correct order in Nano's document. The next paragraph being dissected in Silver's document would be in which she would talk about her Vtuber model being cancelled. It was meant to be completed for her birthday, but Nano messaged her in November 2023 saying that she needed to cancel the commission for health reasons. She'd state that she was heartbroken to now find out that this happened only due to external pressure from both Red and Sinder. To argue against this, Sinder would yet again link the screenshots that were present in Nano's document, showing that she was going to cancel regardless due to her being overworked. She'd then say that if Nano lied and told Silvervale that her model was cancelled because of Sinder, then she doesn't blame Silver for thinking this was the case. She would then state that she doesn't really think that Silver really cares about what happened to her model, because Nano is currently making her a brand new one, showing us a very recent screenshot from Nano's stream on the 17th of September 2020.
Low-key, it looks so pretty. It looks so nice. Very pretty model. Holy shit.
25. In Silver's document, she said that she didn't think much of it at the time, but now found it interesting that Sinder had sent her a message congratulating her on her latest Gamer Subs drop, while actively working to take the potential for more away. Again, Sinder would refute these claims and would argue that this message was genuine. In fact, it was sent 2 days before Silver's model was cancelled. Finally, we'd reached the last section of Silver's document titled Moving Forward. Silver would claim that Sinder and Red spent years sabotaging her for no understandable reason, that she had done nothing wrong to warrant this kind of hate other than simply just existing at Silvervale. She accused both Red and Sinder of actively seeking to get her models and art cancelled. Sinder would argue that she didn't do anything to warrant Silver's hate of her, and that Nano independently cancelled her project with Silver, adding that Red did ask one other artist not to work with her on his own, and as far as he knew, nothing was cancelled because of it. This is of course in reference to Artist 2. The final paragraph from Silver's document shown here would be her saying how it was hard to express how crushing of a feeling it was to be talked about so maliciously without her knowing, while mourning all the potential opportunities and friendships that were taken away from her due to spite and insecurity from Sinder, and hoping that her document can convince its readers that she is not the person Red and Sinder claim she is. To this, Sinder would say, "The rumors expressed about Silvervale were true to our own experiences with her. There was no reason for Red or I to lie about that. The same way there wasn't a reason for Red to lie to Nano about my experience with Shy Lily. I hope this document and the evidence presented will convince you that Silvervale is the person that I've shown her to be." Alright, so now I kind of hope you understand that this is really just a repetition to everything we've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, there were a couple of interesting things like how Sinder thinks that Silvervale on purpose included cropped images to make her look worse, but overall, instead of writing 230 pages, she could have just talked about this, right? That could have been the whole Silvervale section for all I care. But Sinder wasn't done. Because if you thought this was crazy, wait till you realize that the next 40 pages are Sinder quoting individual sentences from multiple Silvervale streams in which she talks about the situation as it was happening. Yeah, I wish I was joking. In fact, every single thing Silver said that was included in this document had a YouTube link of the VOD in question with the exact timestamp that was referenced and then transcribed. Now look, I can't make everyone happy, and I'm sure some people won't like this, but at a certain point, I have to put my foot down, man. I do have to take some hard decisions for the sake of this video's quality, and for the sake of my own sanity. I read these 40 pages and can conclude that they're nothing more than a painfully elongated version of Sinder's dissecting of Silver's document. This is the same thing as what happened in the breakdown, okay? So regardless of the opinion you hold right now about Sinder or Silver, I don't think this will change much of it. So this is why we'll be skipping to page 227, where we'll be reading Sinder's conclusion about this section. Here's what she'd say. In conclusion, Silvervale. I was not jealous of Silvervale. I did not obsess over Silvervale. And I did not copy Silvervale. For years,
Oh my god, she said her name 3 times! Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
I've been harassed for being her lesser half, and my existence was discounted as a poor ripoff of someone else. The lengths people went to convince themselves I did everything to copy Silvervale throughout my career, down to copying her laugh, are the same lengths my friends must have gone to convince themselves that I was somehow sabotaging them for years. Neither was true. My insecurities about these comments ate at me for so long, I've had to go to similar lengths just to avoid getting harassed over these comparisons. I've only ever wanted to get along with Silver, but I got off on the wrong foot with her because of my mistake in the original fan art post, and she never forgot that. Once it was apparent that Silvervale wasn't willing to show me the kindness and respect I showed her, and that I couldn't expect her help in ending these hateful comparisons between us, I resorted to agreeing with Red to ask Nano to stop making models for her. Eventually, one of the biggest things we were compared over wouldn't be an issue anymore. What we did was
So you admit it. What? It took you 227 pages for you to finally admit that, like, yeah, I did want Nano to stop making models of Silver. What? Oh.
wrong, no matter how Silvervale treated me, but she quite literally lost out on nothing due to my actions.
Am I reading this wrong?
I've had to go to similar lengths just to avoid getting harassed over these comparisons. I've only ever wanted to get along with Silver, but I got off on the wrong foot with her because of my mistake in the original fan art post, and she never forgot that. Once it was apparent that Silvervale wasn't willing to show me the kindness and respect I showed her, and that I couldn't expect her help in ending these hateful comparisons between us, I resorted to agreeing with Red to ask Nano to stop making models for her. Eventually, one of the biggest things we were compared over wouldn't be an issue anymore. What we did was wrong, no matter how Silvervale treated me, but she quite literally lost out on nothing due to my actions.
My frames are dropping so badly. So, okay, so she admits that she fucked her over, but then said, but I didn't. Because she didn't gain anything. Am I reading it wrong? Bro, come on. Am I reading this? Am I hearing this wrong? Because, what? What? I gotta be hearing this wrong, chat, because there's no fucking way. But imagine being that dense to think that you're canceling plans for someone else is not causing them any harm. Sinder is the Bay Harbor model butcher.
I didn't have how Silvervale treated me, but she quite literally lost out on nothing due to my actions. I didn't have a problem with Silvervale herself because of other people's comments about us. My problem was with the way she treated me opposite to what she said to me when I did nothing to warrant it. She pretended to be friendly, then ghosted me, restricted me from her chat, and blacklisted anything to do with me, all without ever saying a word directly to me about how she really felt. Regardless of how I felt about Silvervale, I never did.
This is crazy how she's like pressing Silver, but then her friends are like, yo, you were doing the same shit to us. Like, what the fuck? Granted, she didn't like blacklist like her friends in the, you know, in the chats and stuff like that. But you were literally avoiding them, ghosting them, pretending to be friendly. You were doing the exact same shit that you were projecting onto Silver. When entirely, she just wanted nothing to do with you. And you still didn't catch the hint, bro.
She pretended to be friendly, then ghosted me, restricted me from her chat, and blacklisted anything to do with me, all without ever saying a word directly to me about how she really felt. Regardless of how I felt about Silvervale, I never did anything so petty to her. I made fan art of us together, I asked to hang out offline once, I asked her to collab once. Over the course of 2 years, that
You just contradicted yourself. You can't sit there and say, I never did anything petty to her, but then have this paragraph at the top. Oh, esta pendeja.
to her. I made fan art of us together, I asked to hang out offline once, I asked her to collab once. Over the course of 2 years, that was too much for her. Silvervale claimed she was very direct with me when she wasn't, so let me be direct with you. Silvervale is a master emotional manipulator. If Shy Lily claimed I was a narcissistic manipulator, then I don't even know how she described Silvervale. She effortlessly lied directly to her audience she claims to care so much about through her crocodile tears. She manipulated them into giving her the support she felt I was taking from her for years. On stream, she would lie about me, then manipulate her viewers by saying how awful and stressful everything was and how uncomfortable and anxious I made her. She repeated that exact thing over and over again, turning me into the big bad wolf I never was, ending with how much she cared about and loved her fans. She manipulated the majority of her mod team against me, and even emotionally manipulated one of her mods for the sin of trying their best to help her out with something she asked for help with. Silver couldn't take accountability for her own actions towards me and lied about them to everyone when I was already down. Silver had to lie about everything she experienced with me because if she told the truth, it'd be her being at fault, not me. There was literally no reason to lie about what happened with my fan art from 2021. I was already cancelled, but Silvervale wanted to make me look worse for no other reason than that she could. She said anything she wanted about me because I was the only one who could refute it. I drew fan art of us together and she took it personally and held it against me ever since. Silver has been so full of spite towards me that if she wants to claim she wasn't lying about everything, then she's deluded herself into believing an alternate reality of twisted fan fiction where I've been the cause of all her problems and her own personal comic book villain. She was never willing to bury the hatchet until she was able to bury it in my back. How could anyone trust anything Silvervale says after this? Silvervale resented me for what she saw as me trying to use her, stealing her viewers and mods away from her, and being just as successful as her in my own right, despite just being her copy. She became adamant to turn her mods against me, remove all mentions of me from her Discord server and Twitch chat, refused to do something as small as reply to each other on Twitter, and couldn't bring herself to even thank me by name when I rated her as to not give me any public validation. She could only see my words and actions in the petty, threatened,
and couldn't bring herself to even thank me by name when I rated her to not give me any public validation. 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 Hi, it's my first time here. I am from YouTube. Is this a place to recommend videos or is it anywhere? Oh, the Discord server. The Discord server. Do exclamation point Discord. There is a channel called React on Stream. You can send links of YouTube videos that you would wish for me to react to. But right now, we've been like so hell-bent on this like big react, so it might be a while. How can anyone trust Sinder says she already admitted to being a liar about other shit. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Chat, refused to do something as small as reply to each other on Twitter, and couldn't bring herself to even thank me by name when I rated her as to not give me any public validation.
She really wants validation from somebody.
Could only see my words and actions in the petty, threatened way she chose to interpret them in. I was nothing but kind to her for years, and instead of just telling me to fuck off like she truly felt, she was two-faced, and then lied to her chat about her willingness to be direct. She pretended not to see my supportive messages to her for months while she lied to her mods about me and soft-banned me in her chat for simply saying hi every now and then. She expressed she didn't like getting harassed over comparisons to me either, but she never could acknowledge that simply getting along could have helped end that for both of us. I never expected—
she didn't want to be your friend. You didn't catch the hint. She didn't want to be your friend and you didn't catch the hint, bro. You kept pressing her and then you were constantly bringing up the fucking financial transactions. You were asking about some like fucking sponsor collabs. You were— sorry, I heard a flute. You were asking about sponsor collabs. You were asking about collabing on merch. You were asking about like all this shit. It was all collabs, bro. And she just didn't fuck with you. You didn't take the hint. She just did not fuck with you. And she tried to be nice about it. She tried to be nice about it. Fucked up for her ghosting, but she fucking tried, bro. My dad is awake and I know he hears me like yelling.
me and soft-banned me in her chat for simply saying hi every now and then. She expressed she didn't like getting harassed over comparisons to me either, but she never could acknowledge that simply getting along could have helped end that for both of us. I never expected her to do anything with me, just to treat me like a person. She was seething over my existence alongside her and blamed me for every inconvenience she's suffered in her career ever since I wrote #Cindervale in a long deleted tweet. But she claimed she was the one that broke my brain. Maybe if she looked in the mirror instead of glaring over at me for 4 years, she would have recognized the problem. Just like every other situation I've discussed in this document, the issues with Silvervale were due to to a severe lack of communication, a refusal to communicate. Silvervale didn't start my cancellation, but once it was in motion, she jumped on board to throw as much fuel into the fire as she could. Ever since her years-long abuser was taken out of the picture and Silvervale reclaimed her community from me, she's been much more active than she's ever been, now doing handcam streams and even planning to cosplay. She's been profiting off of all the lies she told about me, just like Nano, who's making a brand new model for her right now. Sinder would then link a clip of Silvervale on her stream saying, "You know, maybe people can stop being so fake. I don't know if they will, but you can hope, I guess. It's not hard to be a good person. It's really not. It's so much more effort to lie to people and manipulate people. And how did that not get stressful, you know? Like, how did you not feel bad at least a little bit?" This was of course in reference to Sinder. Now normally, this is where you'd think the section would end, but Sinder had other plans.
What?
She'd include a subsection titled "A Pattern of Behavior."
Speculation. Speculation, bro. Speculation. Speculation, speculation, speculation. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Labeled, of course,
I'm tired
as
of it.
speculation, continuing the dangerous trend she started in the section titled "The Breakdown." Here's what she had to say. "Silvervale did not like me. It's very clear by her own behavior over the past few years, her own mod accounts, and her lies. My second debut anniversary was on the 25th of June, 2024. It's very likely, evidenced by her own words on stream and the account of one of her longtime mods, that she canceled her stream on the 24th of June because of my celebration subathon, meaning she knew when it was. In August 2024, my bikini debut and merch drop coincided with the week of Silver's birthday debut and merch drop, an important event for her where she debuted a similar pair of outfits to my 2.0 and Demon designs from the year before. Her Pixel merch drop was presumably completed and ready to release at any time almost 2 months ahead of the eventual launch date on the 11th of April 2025, and just so happened to be released a week after my AFK merch drop on the 4th of April 2025. I got to be cancelled for my anniversary this year on June 25th, but I was supposed to be launching a limited edition label of Pyro Power with a promo card on that day, both with art drawn by Nano, planned as far back as February 2025. On the 26th of June 2025, Silver had the same bikini debut and merch drop I had during her birthday week and merch drop last year, a day after my anniversary this year. During her stream about me, on the 29th of April 2025, she said that we plan out our drops like the whole year, so I have like a whole year of really cool drops planned. And in 2024, she had her birthday drop planned as far back as the start of the year too. In almost all cases, GamerSupps lets creators choose when they want their drops to be. Her bikini debut and merch drop was already put together before my cancellation, and she would have been able to schedule it whenever she wanted. If the pattern of back-to-back releases was to continue, I believe Silver planned this at the same time as my drop to spite me and overshadow my anniversary, the same way I'm sure she felt my bikini drop did on her birthday week last year. Another thing I noticed were the unusual amount of similarities in our beach background environments, which were both done by the same artist. Cinder would then go ahead and show them side by side. She'd also argue that the overlay also looked the same exact way.
Be so for real.
Then she would say, "But she broke me?" Then she'd end this by saying, and if she didn't make it clear, Silvervale prefers not to do collabs and doesn't want any transactional relationships. She would show a tweet from Shy Lily saying that she was going to collab with Silvervale to play video games with, and it turns out that they were playing this video game because it was for an advertisement. This entire section would end with an image of both Silvervale and Shy Lily playing that game together, having a good time, to which Cinder would say, "Birds of a feather."
Oh my god. Yo. Birds of a feather. We should stick together. Oh no. Oh my god. Yeah, I would low-key be seething too if the two people I wanted to hang out with and be friends with didn't fuck with me and decided to collab together. I would be seething too. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Not even be friends with. No, the two people that I probably saw as competition, they decided to, you know, be friends. They decided to bond over how you fucked them over, bro. Holy shit. Oh my god, that is crazy.
Of course, this wasn't a normal collab, it was a sponsored stream for a game, but maybe that's the point Cinder was trying to make, right? This whole monetized relationship, that Silver was doing that collab for money when she told Cinder that she didn't like to do that. One could argue, though, that Silver and Lily were already friends before this collab and didn't meet purely for monetization purposes. In any case, this is how the document ends. So
Wow.
first things first, I'd like to congratulate you for making it this far.
Thank
Wow,
you.
What a trooper. But more
I know.
specifically, to this section alone, since it's the longest in the entire document.
It
even
was
though
very
we skipped
long.
like 40 pages. High
Yeah.
five. At this point, I don't know what you think. Maybe you side with Silvervale. Maybe you side with Sinder. Maybe you hate both. And maybe you genuinely don't care and want some trashy VTuber drama to listen to while doing chores. Either way, I've already tried to provide you with different possible explanations as to why Sinder and Silver were behaving the way they were. And it's up to you to decide what you want to think.
Okay.
However, I wouldn't decide just yet, because we do find ourselves in a precarious situation. You see, the way Sinder felt about Silvervale was almost exactly how another VTuber by the name of Spite would feel in regards to Sinder. She'd constantly get harassed, compared, and belittled in regards to Sinder, and being told that she was nothing more than a cheap copy, while never being acknowledged by Sinder. The next section in this document involves Aru, but we'll put that on the back burner for now and go straight for the one after that, the section titled Spite.
And we will save that one for tomorrow. Holy shit. My opinion on the silver section has not changed. If anything, it did not help. It did not help, dude. Because there were some things that I probably like skipped over that I've totally forgot. It did not help. Because now I just look at Cinder like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, holy shit.